Hello there, graphic designers. Malkov here, or Kurt, whatever you wanna call me. And this is a nice tutorial by me. This is actually my first real upload to Viva Graphics, so again, thanks to everyone that's supporting the team. I'm really proud to have launched a team like this. Of course, I wouldn't have done it without all of the help that I've gotten the last few weeks, but now let's just go on with the tutorial and we'll just say all the credits later on. So since this was actually like really requested, I'm just going to do a tutorial about this. Now what this is the this tutorial about how to make these PlayStation buttons that you can see right here. Since I made my PS Vita model here, as you can see, I got a lot of requests on how I made these buttons, how you can actually do them, and I'm just gonna make a nice tutorial for this. Okay, so let's go on and do this, shall we? So yeah, let's go. So I'm gonna make a new file, a new canvas. I'm gonna make it 1000 by 1000 with resolution at 300. I'm gonna make the background contents transparent. You can really do any size, but this is the size that I'm gonna use for the purpose of this tutorial. So I'm gonna click OK. I'm gonna give a nice background color of a darkish gray here. Now I'm gonna make a new group, and I'm gonna name it PlayStation button. So now we're gonna go over to the shape tool, and then we're gonna select the ellipse tool and make sure that this button here is selected, the first one, and by holding shift we're gonna make a nice perfect circle here. Doesn't matter how big it is, just make sure that you can actually work on it very well. And yeah, I'm just gonna change the full color here to white so that you can see it. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna double click on it so that I can bring up the layer style menu. I'm gonna give it a gradient overlay. I'm gonna make the angle at about, we're gonna make it 115. Yeah, 115, and we're gonna make the gradient here from pretty much pure black to dark gray. Darkish gray, yeah, there you go. And we're gonna hit OK. We're gonna give it a nice drop shadow. We're gonna make the distance about 14. We're gonna make the size, actually we're gonna make this distance just 8. We're gonna make the opacity 93. We're gonna make the size about 18. Yeah, that looks good. And we're also gonna give it a bevel and emboss here. And we're gonna use the normal glass contour, which is just a straight line. We can just test out other ones, but this is what I'm gonna use for now. And we're gonna make the highlight mode here to normal. I'm gonna make the opacity to about 83. We're gonna make the shadow mode pretty much, we're gonna leave it to multiply, and we're gonna make the opacity 53. Now I'm gonna uncheck use global light. I'm gonna make the angle at about, it really depends on where you want the lights coming from. So if you're gonna have light coming from this part, you're gonna want to have this line, this white line right here at this side. So I'm just gonna make it at that side pretty much. I'm gonna make the angle 124 here, which is kind of really near the center pretty much. And I'm also gonna have an inner shadow, and I'm gonna make the distance 3. Yeah. I'm gonna make the size about, 32. So that's enough. Now I'm gonna duplicate that layer with Ctrl J. We're gonna over to the old layer here, and we're gonna remove the gradients. Actually, no. We need to remove the bevel and emboss here. We're gonna just remove the bevel and emboss. We're gonna leave everything how it was before. And for the second layer, we're gonna remove everything but the bevel and emboss. And we're just gonna make the fill here, right under opacity, you have the fill menu. We're just gonna make it 0%. So that's pretty much makes us able to see how it is and how it's not, you know, without the with and without the emboss here. Now we're gonna make a new layer, and by holding Control, I'm gonna click on the thumbnail here of the second layer. And with this third layer, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the brush tool. We're gonna select a 0% hardness circle brush, and we're gonna make the size. It really depends. The size really depends on how big your button is. So I'm gonna make it 473 for this tutorial. So I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. If I found it on 69, it's enough. We're gonna make the foreground color white, pure white. And we're just gonna shade, we're just gonna do 2 clicks over the bevel and down bosses. So since it's this direction, since the light is gonna be coming from this direction, we're just gonna make 3 clicks right there. And now I'm gonna hit Ctrl D to unselect the stuff. I'm gonna change the blending mode of the third layer to soft light. I'm just gonna make the opacity at 52. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a new layer. Again, we're gonna go to the ellipse tool, but this time click on the second button here in the corner, and we're gonna try to make a perfect circle again, which is kind of like the size of this. But we need it to be exactly in sync with this emboss pretty much. You'll see what I mean when you see it, okay? I'm just gonna move it a little bit with Ctrl T, and of course we're gonna have to make it bigger here. Now this is kind of the only difficult part of the tutorial. So as you can see, finally I made pretty much the perfect circle here. Move it a little bit. So there you go. So now this work pad here, this circle work pad, is exactly in sync with the bevel and down boss highlights. So what we're gonna do here, again, we're gonna have the new layer selected. We're gonna go over to the brush tool again. We're gonna make the size down to about 3. So let's make it 2. And we're gonna make the hardness 100%. Or just like that one. And now we're gonna go over to the pen tool again. Now make sure that the foreground color is white, and we're just gonna right click on the work pad, and we're gonna click on stroke pad, and make sure that simulate pressure is unchecked, and the tool selected here is a brush. So yeah, we're just gonna click OK. And there you go. So now we're just gonna unselect the work pad, and now the layer that has got this circle, we're gonna make its blending mode soft light, and pretty much that's kind of it. I'm just gonna move it a little bit here. Yeah, it's much better. Also, I'm gonna make its opacity about 87 here. Now I'm gonna go over to the old over to the first layer that we made, and I'm gonna it's the second layer, and we're gonna over to the bevel and down boss. I'm gonna make the highlights a little bit less. So I'm gonna make them about 42. Yeah, it's enough. And again, I mean, this is pretty much it, guys. This is the button here. Now I'm gonna add the PS sign. Now you can make these yourself, by the way. Just make sure that when you're gonna do a PSD file like this, make sure that, like, let's say the O and the X, like, they have the same thickness, otherwise they're gonna look funny. Yeah, I'm just gonna select, let's say, I'm gonna select the X, whatever. Just bring it over here. I'm gonna resize it, and since it's in vector format, it's not really gonna lose, shouldn't really lose any quality. Yeah, perfect. Just gonna give it a nice drop shadow with distance set to 2 and size at about 10. And moved over to everything. So yeah, as you can see now, the PlayStation button is pretty much ready. If you want, you can actually go to the first layer and you can actually give it a stroke. Not literally, but you can give it like a size that you can make the size 1, and you can make the color white, and you can also make the blend mode soft light so it's better, and just move the opacity to about 47. Actually, I'm gonna make the size to, yeah, it looks much better. I'm gonna make the opacity a little bit lower, maybe something like 15. Looks okay, but you can see it doesn't really fit it, yeah. So I'm just gonna remove the stroke, whatever. But as you can see, the PlayStation button is pretty much ready. You can use this on any kind of controller. You can even like remove the Zax and just maybe make like, let's say, the Facebook icon here and just use it on your banner. There's really a lot of stuff that you can do with these kind of buttons. So as you can see, it's pretty simple to do. I know that I ran like really in depth with tutorials, but like I really like to go there because that way, if I go in depth to a certain subject, you can learn much more. But I know that a lot of bitches bitch about that, but whatever, if you don't like it, just don't watch it and fuck off. So yeah, so again, I'm sorry for the long tutorial for such a simple thing, but I like to go in depth. So yeah, so again guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope that it helped you out, and if it did, make sure to like the video. I would really appreciate it. The whole team would really appreciate it. So yeah, and I'll just see you guys later. Malcolm signing out, and yeah, peace.